back to my channel, book friends. Today I'm going to do a top 10 series that I want to start in 2024 and 2025. The first one is Homeland by R.A. Salvatore. It is the series The Forgotten Realms and the Drizzt. It's the Legend of Drizzt. So this is a high fantasy, very high fantasy world where the dark elf of Drizzt is basically going around killing people and taking names, being a badass. Drizzt is from what I've heard is that's what he does in this series. R.A. Salvatore is a very good author. I've read some of his Star Wars books, so I'm really interested in this series. And very, very high fantasy, so I'm excited to get into something like that. I have started it before, but did not capture my attention, but I'm hopefully going to give it another try, and I think that it's going to go a lot better this next time. The second series that I want to start in 2024 and 2025 is actually one that I just randomly picked up at Goodwill. It is the Winds of the Four Lands tetralogy by David B. Coe. The first book is called Rules of Ascension. It says right here in the blurb that it's a sword and sorcery epic, and I really enjoy sword and sorcery type of books. This kind of seems like a traditional fantasy, traditional sword and sorcery, sword and board kind of fantasy, and I've seen this from Brian Lee Durfee. He likes this series, so it's something that I want to give a try because it's nothing that I've heard about. I have the first two books, so hopefully I can get the next few books when I can. The next sci-fi or fantasy, and this time sci-fi book or series that I want to start is Otherland by Tad Williams. Tad Williams is one of my favorite authors. I've read most of his Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, and then I'd really like to get into his second series in Oxnard. But Otherland is a virtual reality written in the early 2000s or the late 90s. So it doesn't have a lot of the influence that Ready Player One and other of those kind of had. There's also a lot of ideas that we do not see in today's VR virtual reality. So I'm very excited to give this a try. I also have the first two books of this series. So the Otherland, I think it's called Otherland. I think it's 4 books. So I'm excited to get all of those. They're pretty thick, so I'm not too excited about some of the writing. Ted Williams can get a little long-winded at times, but that's why I love him. So I'm excited for Otherland. Next up, I don't even know what it is. What is it? Okay, Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. So Shadow of the Gods is a series that is acclaimed all over BookTube. Everyone seems to love this series. It's new from John Gwynne, and it's a Viking-inspired fantasy. So it's something that I've never read before. I really enjoyed the Valhalla Assassin's Creed game, so I think that I'm going to enjoy this setting. I've heard that the main character is a badass again, and this cover looks awesome. It's got a dragon on it, and I love dragons in my stories, so Shadow of the Gods I'm super excited for. It's called the Bloodsworn Saga. Definitely need to be saying the series name. Bloodsworn Saga. This next one is the one that I think I'm most excited about. Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. It is the first book in the Sun Eater series. This series is also very highly acclaimed in the BookTube area. It's a sci-fantasy story where the book is kind of told in the Name of the Wind type of prose and style of telling, where the character is telling about their past in the future. So that's not necessarily one of my favorite tropes. It's actually one of my least favorite. I did not like it very much in Name of the Wind, but I've only heard good things from this series, and I've tried to get my friends to read it, so I'm really excited to start the Sun Eater series in this next coming months or year. As a man with a history degree, this next book is right up my alley. I loved Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, which was kind of his history book of the continent of Westeros, and I've heard that this next book reads quite like that. This is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. It is the first book in the Dandelion Dynasty. It also has a lot of awards, and it went through the rigmarole of everyone loving it on BookTube, so I'm excited to read it. I've heard that the second and third are way different than the first. The first is set up like a history book, and then it goes through decades and centuries, I guess, maybe. So really excited about that because as a history major, it's going to read like a history book maybe, and I'm super excited about that. So Ken Liu, hopefully this scratches that itch, and I'll be able to maybe jump from this into some actual historical works, because that would be nice to read as well. Alright, we're already more than halfway through. The next book is going to be Promise of Blood by Brian McCullough. This is the first book in the Powder Mage trilogy. It is a Powder Mage trilogy. So it's a powder, not a powder puff. It's some, the genre has some type of name, but so basically it's a musket type of fantasy, which is not something that you read often. So some low technology, medium fantasy. I've heard that they snort gunpowder, which sounds pretty cool. This is just a series that I've heard is really good. I picked up a copy, and so I'm really excited to get into this. My next series that I really want to start is an old series. It dates back, and it's pretty long, and it's got multiple authors. I'm pretty sure these are all things that I don't know too much about. I've seen it on YouTube, but I haven't seen this series talked about enough, and that is the Rift War saga, Rift War series, all of the Rift War by Raymond E. Feist. I think Jenny Wirtz has some in there. I don't think Mercedes Lackey's is involved. I think it's mostly Raymond E. Feist, but the first one here is Magician. I really should be showing the maps on all of these books because I love magnificent maps. This is awful. This is awesome. So I love that. Don't know really much at all about this series. Cannot tell you much, but I have a copy, and so I'm excited to read it. The map got me excited, and I know that it's highly acclaimed, so that's something that I really want to get into. Next to last, this is what I really want to be getting into in the coming months. I really want to get back into Star Wars reading, because Star Wars reading, you have to take big breaks from it. In my opinion, they're not the best written books, and I think it hurts that there's not a quintessential author for them. Timothy Zahn, Matthew Stover, James Luceno, these are the top 3 authors, and when they do have books that come out, I really enjoy them. I do enjoy those old books from them, but Star Wars books are kind of a hit or miss, so I'm excited that this one is an R.A. Salvatore book. Again, another R.A. Salvatore, and this one is Vector Prime, The New Jedi Order. The New Jedi Order is it's the New Republic. It's set after the Thrawn trilogy, and after the there's the Han Solo trilogy, there's the Courtship of Princess Leia, there's the Battle, or the Mini-War. There's a whole lot of books in between the Thrawn trilogy and this series. I might read the Jedi Academy trilogy, but the New Jedi Order is the series that I really want to get into, the big sci-fi series that I want to get into in this next coming year. So hopefully I can capture more of these books, because they're kind of elusive, so hopefully I can find that. Last and not least, if you can kind of see it back here, it is a chunker. It is Malice by John Gwynne, another John Gwynne book. So this is Faithful and the Fallen, that's the series. This series has been highly hyped on BookTube. I do know that his other series, Shadow of the Gods, the Bloodsworn saga, is more recent, so it has a bit more hype, but this one I've heard good things from Petrick, from Mike's Book Reviews. I always hear good things when I hear Malice, so I'd love to start this series. And that's my top 10 series that I want to read in 2024 and 2025. Thank you so much for reading with me.